Good evening and thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Cash Matlock. Community leaders in West Point rallying for a public demonstration over the weekend. Organizers say the We Are West Point event is a peaceful gathering to march for justice, equality, and solidarity in their community. The state and country marches gathered at 5 p.m. Saturday at the police station for prayer. The walk started at 5:30, ending at the Mission and on the Hill with a short program.
We wanted to do something to stand in solidarity with the rest of the nation and our neighboring city of Columbus, but we wanted this to be an ongoing effort about education and social equality and reform for the city of West Point across our state and nation. It's an ongoing effort, something that we need to do daily, weekly, monthly. This is the first of our many conversations in the city of West Point to cure some of our injustices and do some reform.
Participants were encouraged to wear masks during the event. In other parts of the country, it's not so peaceful. Tonight, anguish and anxiety in Atlanta as the city grapples with a fatal police shooting that started with no hint of confrontation. The city, already tense over earlier accusations of police brutality, is bracing for more protests. Meanwhile, the wife of Rayshard Brooks told CBS her husband wasn't dangerous and police had no right to shoot him. CBS's Mark Strassman was there.
Yo, what's up, my man?
As this police video begins, Rayshard Brooks had roughly 45 minutes to live.
You scared me a little bit because you were sleeping in there.
Two white Atlanta police officers got a call Friday night. A man sleeping in his car at a Wendy's drive-thru. At first, their talk with Brooks seemed agreeable. But then he failed a field sobriety test.
Here, put your hands on your butt.
He wanted no part of those cuffs.
Hey, stop fighting! Stop fighting! Stop fighting! Stop fighting! You're gonna get tased! You're gonna get tased! Stop!
During this ground fighting, Brooks wrestled away one of the officer's tasers and ran. Officer Garrett Rolfe chased him. Brooks, still running, turned around and fired the taser.
63.
Rolfe shot his pistol 3 times, killing Brooks.
So they showed me a picture of his ID and asked, "Is this your husband?" I said, "Yeah, what's wrong?" They said, "Well, Miss Miller, we're sorry to tell you, I just dropped to my knees."
Tomika Miller was married to Brooks for 8 years. They have 4 children.
It was murder. That was not justified.
Why was it murder?
Why was it murder? Because he was shot and he wasn't armed, he wasn't dangerous. He wasn't coming at them in any kind of way to where they felt a threat. They should have been felt threatened.
Within a day, Atlanta's police chief resigned. Officer Rolfe was fired. His partner, Devin Brosnan, suspended. Overnight, Atlanta erupted. Protesters stormed downtown. Others blocked an interstate, squaring off against riot police. The most violent moment? Protesters torched the Wendy's where the shooting happened. Lawyer Chris Stewart represents the family of Rayshard Brooks.
He's another African-American male that shouldn't have been murdered, just like George Floyd, just like Alton Sterling, just like Walter Scott, just like the list goes on and on.
Tomika Miller never imagined she'd be in the same position as George Floyd's family.
What do you want now for justice?
I want them to go to jail. I want them to deal with the same thing as if it was my husband who killed someone else. If it was my husband who shot them, he would be in jail. He would be doing a life sentence.
No criminal charges have been filed against either officer, but the county prosecutor is looking into the case and says he'll have a decision by midweek. Meanwhile, Atlanta's bracing for another round of protests tonight.
It looked and felt like summer out there today. Let's recap the day in Columbus with our Alpha Insurance Camera Network. Our time lapse here, some clouds building on up. They really couldn't get it organized. We just saw some friendly clouds out there. It was warm, highs in the low 90s. Currently in the 70s, low and mid 70s across the board. The sky is clear. It's a great evening to be had. Down into the mid 60s for lows tonight. That wind being stirred up a little bit, but in general, it'll come back down a little bit later on tonight. But lows will be in the 60s. We're looking at mid to upper 80s tomorrow, so slightly cooler, partly cloudy. a chance for a stray shower or thunder shower as a weak front moves on through the region. Overall, the rain chances here on our Monday, just 10 or 20%. A pretty dry work week here. Maybe a little bit of rain by next weekend, but slim pickings there as far as rainfall over the next 7. I'm back with you. Full forecast coming up.
All right, thanks, Keith. Well, the man accused of shooting and killing a Simpson County deputy has been captured. WLBT reports Joaquin Stephen Blackwell is accused of shooting 77-year-old Deputy James Blair Friday afternoon. Blair was flown to a Jackson area hospital, but later died. Executive Director of Region 8 Mental Health Services, Dave Van, said Blackwell was at the facility for an involuntary psychiatric evaluation. In the transporting of the suspect, Blackwell obtained a gun, allegedly shot the deputy, and escaped into the woods. According to a neighbor, Blair had been in law enforcement his entire life. This included working as a paramedic and a school resource officer. He was still working due to the fact that he was raising his grandsons, whose mother had passed away. He leaves behind a wife as well. Well, the Mississippi Department of Health reports 168 new cases of COVID-19 with 2 new deaths. There are 26 new cases within long-term care facilities. Since March 11th, there have been more than 19,000 cases with 891 total deaths. More than 13,000 Mississippians are presumed to have recovered from the virus. The coronavirus hotline is the best way to get your questions about COVID-19 answered. You can call 877-978-6453 7 days a week from 7 a.m. to 11 p.m. As Americans begin gathering again, coronavirus infections are rising in more than 20 states, principally in the South and West. As of today, confirmed cases in this country number more than 2 million. More than 115,000 people have died. CBS's Meg Oliver has more.
Weeks after many beaches and businesses reopened, 3 of the nation's most populous states, Texas, Arizona, and Florida, hit record highs for new COVID cases.
I am seeing more cases that we're having to admit to hospitals.
Infectious disease specialist Dr. Eileen Marty attributes part of the spike to recent protests.
Do you expect the numbers to continue to climb?
So long as we continue having mass gatherings and so long as we continue to have individuals who don't remember how serious this virus is, yes, we will continue to see more and more cases.
In Arizona, more than a month after restaurants and bars resumed indoor service, hospitals are running out of beds. Many establishments are voluntarily shutting down again to disinfect. This packed street party in New York City Friday night prompted a stern warning from Governor Andrew Cuomo.
We are not kidding around with this. You're talking about jeopardizing people's lives.
We're like stir crazy, locked up the whole time.
In Milwaukee, visitors had no problem following new guidelines at the zoo. And in San Francisco, eager diners ate al fresco for the first time in months. Outdoor dining sandwiched between cars.
It kind of feels like you're in Europe a little bit.
Monday morning, the world will slowly reopen tourism. The European Union will lift many internal borders, but the United States is not on the invite list yet. Meg Oliver, CBS News, Newark, New Jersey.
As most businesses in the state have switched their close sign to open, they're faced with a new challenge. Just like other businesses, things are looking different for bowling alleys. A family-owned bowling alley named Depot Family Fun Center, located in Philadelphia, is struggling with a decrease in foot traffic. Owner Beverly Interkin says they're taking many safety precautions, including disinfecting bowling balls before and after use, spacing customers out by leaving every other bowling lane open, having staff deep clean the entire facility 3 times a day every day, and checking customers' temperatures before entering the building.
It has greatly impacted us every way, financially mostly. Usually on a Saturday night, this place is packed. We might have 300 kids in the skating rink. Last night, I think we had 3. Bowling, the same situation. Usually you're waiting on a lane on Friday and Saturday night for midnight bowling. We had 2 groups, that's it. This is our second home. We want our customers to feel the same way, that this is a place they can come to and be safe. So we have put a lot of guidelines in effect. We are doing everything to protect you because we do care about our family, and that's what we consider you as our extended family. So we're going to protect you and probably do more than you want us to do to make sure that you're safe.
The 27,000 square foot facility also includes a skating rink, restaurant, a private bowling room, an arcade room, and an inside bar. Work is underway on an expansion of the Bancorp South Conference Center. The expansion will expand the conference center and include an atrium along with a tower joining the arena and the center. There will also be a VIP lounge area that could be used by the conference center and the arena. Executive Director Todd Hunt says the addition will provide more opportunities for guests that are usually found in arenas in larger cities.
We've built out a club space that's going to hold about 200 people. That'll be a private reception space that people can purchase a ticket for when we're doing events. It can also be rented out for parties and receptions and that kind of thing as well. So yeah, that will come online in October, and we're really excited to have that new piece of the puzzle that we've never had before.
The entire project should be complete by January. Total cost for the project is right at $15 million. When we come back, Trevor schools us on heat lightning. A brand new WeatherWise is next. Don't go anywhere.
Watching WCBI News at 10 p.m. with Cash Matlock.
Welcome back, everyone. In the summertime, you may notice distant lightning in the night sky, sometimes called heat lightning. Meteorologist Trevor Burchett explains why this phenomenon occurs and some information that may surprise you.
Heat lightning. You've probably all heard about it, and you may have even used the term yourself before. But in order to learn how heat lightning works, you have to know one important thing. Heat lightning actually isn't real. A common misconception is that at night, the lightning in the summertime is caused by some type of static electricity in the atmosphere, completely unrelated to a storm. In reality, heat lightning is just lightning from a distant thunderstorm. The thunderstorm is too far away to experience any rainfall in your location or even hear the thunder, but the lightning from the storm can be seen for miles and miles around. Sometimes you may even see the lightning from the storm with clear skies overhead at your location. Occasionally here in our neck of the woods, we can see lightning from storms as far away as the Mississippi River or down to the south near Jackson. So the next time you're tempted to bring up heat lightning, remember, it's just lightning from a faraway storm. Now remember, if you have any questions about the weather, let us know so we can answer them. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, and at our email address, weather@wcbi.com. With this week's WeatherWise, I'm meteorologist Trevor Burchett.
WeatherWise is brought to you by 4 County Electric Power Association. Your WCBI First Alert AccuWeather forecast with Chief Meteorologist Keith Gibson.
Last Sunday, we were watching radar. A tropical system was coming ashore, and we would have a lot of rain in our neck of the woods. Now, we are looking at no storm that will develop over the next 5 days in the tropical Atlantic. Certainly good news as we get into the upcoming work week. Temperatures for the near term over the next couple of days, mid to upper 80s, so a little bit cooler through Wednesday, back into the low 90s to maybe mid 90s by next weekend with more humidity. So the humidity factor has been taken down a few notches here. We love to see that. It's warm, but at least it's not too terribly humid during the day. Some cumulus clouds there in Louisville, Mississippi, Vernon at Durham's Pharmacy, Columbus, and Tupelo today. Our Alpha Insurance camera network, our time lapses. Now, we actually did have a batch of showers and storms develop to our northeast today, and these swooped on down into the Appalachians. Some storms developed in Georgia and over there in Alabama. The outflow from that, we saw that on our Doppler radar. This was earlier this evening at 6 o'clock. Look at this. It was coming on in. It maybe stirred up the breeze a little bit. That was about it for our Sunday evening, but you may have gotten a little wind out of it. Now, if you're out right now, out later tonight, tomorrow morning, you may see some planets. Right now, Mars visible, Jupiter and Saturn as well. Great evenings for stargazing with the dry air in place and the clear skies. Case in point, tonight we stay clear. Lows will be very comfortable if you will be out on the back patio looking up at the stars down into the mid 60s in many spots here with fairly light wind. Our planner for tomorrow in Vernon. Look at this. We start out in the 60s back into the mid to maybe upper 80s tomorrow. We're going to go with about 87 degrees. Now, we can't rule out a stray shower or storm tomorrow. That rain opportunity just about 20% or less. So most of you will not see anything. We're just throwing it back into the forecast here, and we'll see an opportunity with a frontal boundary coming on through here, but most spots will not see it. So let's talk about all of that with our hour-by-hour forecast. Pretty quiet right now. Here comes the front, and notice how we may see a few showers or storms tomorrow as that thing actually backs on in from the northeast. That goes away. And then we will have some quiet weather, it looks like, as we get into Tuesday. Highs in the 80s, so not as hot as where we were this weekend. Slightly cooler. We're actually going to be on the backside of this cutoff low over here across the Carolinas this week. The highest rain chances to our east. Now, there's still the outside chance that some of that moisture could back up a little bit, Right now, we are keeping that out of the forecast aside from the stray storm potential for our Monday. So here's your AccuWeather 7-day forecast. Mid to upper 80s through Wednesday. Comfortable nights, too, so our low's not too terribly bad. Maybe a shot at some upper 50s tomorrow night. By Thursday and beyond, back in the low 90s, the humidity comes on back. Summer officially begins next Saturday, and then Father's Day a week from today. So do not forget about that a week from today.
Officially begins. Keith, I'm not buying that.
No, that happened here, what, probably
like
back
a month
in
ago.
March, February?
Yeah, officially begins. Summer's been here. All right, thank you, Keith. Well, your morning may be getting a little brighter and a little easier. We've got this week's Mom to Mom coming up next. Stay with us. Welcome back in, everyone. Waking up is sometimes the hardest part of the day. Waking your kids up can be even harder. Today on Mom to Mom, some tips on how to brighten your mornings and make them a more positive experience. Take a look.
Today on Mom to Mom, we're going to show you how to make waking up early a positive experience. Moms, are you having a hard time getting your kids up in the morning? It can be super frustrating, and yelling at them can just set a bad tone for everyone for the rest of the day. We've got some great tips to help it go a little bit easier for you. So if your kids usually are pretty cranky and wake up in a bad mood, finding a more gentle and subtle way to wake them up is a lot better than pushing and shove them. So maybe try a little back scratching, brushing their hair a little bit, or just gently saying, "I love you, good morning." That helps as opposed to flipping on the light and saying, "Get up!" Now, if your kids are more of like a heavy sleeper, try putting on some of their favorite music in the mornings. Everyone should have a morning routine, whether it's 3 to 5 steps, brushing your teeth, laying out your clothes the night before, making your bed, grabbing breakfast, whatever it is, getting them on a set routine just makes the steps go easier and easier every morning. Maybe try doing things the night before, like setting out the clothes, making those school lunches, whatever you can do to make waking up in the morning less stressful. Getting your kids on a morning routine, using a more positive voice to help wake them up, and of course, doing things the night before will absolutely help ease that stress every single morning. Hang in there, moms. Eventually, they'll get it. Wish me luck.
After a long period of shutdown, the sports fields around the city of Tupelo were alive with activity this weekend. WCBI's Chad Groening has more.
The softball complex on Veterans Boulevard is humming as area teams are finally able to play. And the nearby Tupelo Aquatic Center is hosting the Fitter and Faster Comprehensive Breaststroke Racing Camp. But the vast Bank Plus Sportsplex at Ballard Park is where the bulk of the action is this weekend, hosting both soccer and youth baseball. Tupelo Parks and Recreation Director Alex Farnett says there are about 200 teams participating this weekend.
We're just so excited to have everybody back in the Tupelo, everybody coming in. We're taking every measures to be safe here and for everybody's safety at all these events, and just really excited to have people back in the city and kind of boosting our economic impact for the city.
And Farnett says it is great to be outside.
Everybody who's been cooped up and inside, you know, we're now able to have organized events, and so this is just a way to get everybody out. It's a beautiful weekend, and just excited that everybody's here.
Sadly, the coronavirus wiped out the high school and college baseball seasons this year, and it's unclear whether there'll be any kind of a shortened major league season. But baseball is alive and well this weekend in Tupelo. The Stop Wishing Start Doing United States Specialty Sports Association baseball tournament features more than 80 teams. Mark Brzee is coach of the Tupelo Rangers. He says it's great to be back on the field.
We really missed the boys when we were kind of unable to practice, and these guys are just so excited to get back out on the field. We're excited to get out there and coach them. We played a tournament last week in Oxford, and just being out there with them on the field and all the parents, the coaches, it's just good to see these boys outside and together again.
We're super excited. I mean, it was hard being locked up for several months, so we're glad to be back out here, and we're taking the proper precautions, trying to at least, and we're just excited to be able to be together again and to play and to see all these people and beautiful weather and getting to enjoy it, so we're excited.
I mean, as a mom, you know, you just want your kids to be active and be with their friends, and he loves playing baseball and just couldn't wait to get started again, so it was hard not to be able to be playing games like we're used to, so this has been great to be back out.
Chad Groening, WCBI News, Tupelo.
We're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, Keith is going to have a final look at weather.
Pretty sunny and warm this week. We can't rule out a stray storm tomorrow, but there you have it. It's cash for the next week. Not too bad.
All right. Thank you, Keith. Thank you all for watching. We'll see you back here tomorrow.